Hello, Sagittarius. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Chakra Wisdom Tarot by Tori Hartman. Artwork by, if the name will show up if I get it in frame, hopefully, Katrina Sokolova. I believe it's right there. There is websites for them. Watkins with an S publishing.com and ToriHartman.com. So if you want to freeze frame that and go search them down, enjoy. Supportive Oracle cards, spellcasting Oracle cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lizbeth. They're their full names. So they do have a website, shewhoisart.com. If I can get it close enough, that would probably be helpful. Alright, so if you want to, again, freeze that, do what you want to do with it. Enjoy. There's a lot of really positive energy coming in, so that's always a welcome thing, right? Why is there an extra card? Why do you got an extra card? What's going on with that? I mean, we like it, but it's a good one. It's a good one. Just the one? Just the one. Okay. Stability. Stability. You're stabilizing something. I don't feel like this is planned. Even though you get the Ten of Pentacles, I feel like this is more talking about you are stabilizing something. Your actions are having a stabilizing effect. I don't think you're planning. I think something's just going to happen. Because I feel like you're just kind of telling somebody, like, no, that doesn't work and this is why, and you just kind of move on. You might not even be realizing, like, that's getting them. Like, like they're like, what? Oh. Like, I feel like this is upsetting somebody. But it needs to be said. This is not vicious. This is not vicious in any sense. And I actually feel like the challenge card is for you to realize that they're not taking it well. I don't think they're taking this information well. The Two of Cups is saying you might think that they're not upset with this information. You might not even realize it. But what you're telling somebody the truth. It's the truth, though, and it needs to be said. You're not, like, trying to get anybody. You're not trying to be, like, calling anybody out. That's not what you're doing. You're just kind of like, they're like, I'm going to do this. You're like, no, you can't do that. That makes this happen, so that's wrong. Don't do that. Go do something else. I don't even feel like you're telling them what to do. I think you're just telling them what not to do, and then you're giving them, like, the backup. Like, don't do that. This happens when you do that. Don't do that. And that's bad. We can't have that. Do something else. So you're just telling them to stop, and you're not giving them any other direction. And you're not, it's not vicious. And you're not planning to do it. The Tower is very interesting because I think why the Tower is going to show up is because I think this person's going to kind of distance themselves from you all of a sudden. And you're going to be like, what's their issue? This is why. I don't think you realize you did it. Thing is, it wasn't mean. Like, you weren't looking, it was just like information. It's just like, no, you just need to know that's not going to work. Like, you're just letting them know. You're just going with your natural energy. Sometimes I feel, and again, let me know in the comments, I always say that, I feel like Sagittarius kind of does this every now and then, and they don't realize that they're just telling the truth. Like, there's no, like, it's not like I'm going to tell them. It's not like that. It's just kind of like, oh, well, this is the truth. There you go. And you move on. And to you, it's like, well, it's just the truth. So why would you be upset with that? It's kind of like today the sky is a little gray and it's a bit rainy with a few clouds. It's kind of like it's just what it is. Like, why me telling you that? Why would that upset you? But people get upset with you for just saying things that you're like, well, that's just what it is. Like, why would you be mad at me for just telling you that? I don't understand. But they have a lot of burdens. The thing is, they're really upset about you telling them this, but it's like it needed to be said. I think also the way you say it, it comes off like, well, obviously that's not working. I think it comes off that way too, like, well, don't do that because this happens and we don't want that, obviously, so don't do that. Kind of like, well, obviously don't do that. Like, obviously that's wrong. You're not saying it that way. Like, it's just coming off that way. Like, well, obviously you wouldn't do that. I don't know. I just feel like it's just kind of like you're not trying to hurt anybody, and you're not even realizing that they're taking it that way. You're just like, oh, don't do that. This is a bad idea. It's kind of like saying, don't walk on broken glass. To you, it's that obvious. Like, there's broken glass over there. Don't walk over there. Like, why would somebody get upset with me for telling them not to walk on broken glass? Like, why? Why would you be upset with me? Like, seriously, to you, it's just like common sense. Like, I'm just, you're obviously not seeing something, so I'm telling you it's there. I'm telling you the broken glass is there. You know, so and so threw a glass over there. Don't walk over there barefoot. That's all I'm saying. Like, why are you upset with me? They do. They get really bent out of shape about it, though. 3 of Swords, 10 of Wands. They're like bent out of shape, really stressed about it. They can't seem to stop thinking about it. They're obsessing over it. I think the biggest thing about this is for you to realize not only that you're having this effect on this person, but the way that you communicate and the way this other person communicates are so different. They're just trying. I feel like if this reading is really going to hit with you, that's the whole point. To realize, especially going forward, maybe even looking in the past, maybe this could solve some issues in the past, possibly. It's not malicious. You don't say things. It's not malicious. You're not doing that. But they take things that way. They just take it that way. And there's such a different way of communication, mode of transfer. And there's a history of this. Okay, so I think this is somebody, if this is hitting with you, this is not a new person to your life. I don't think this is a new person to your life. Could be, but one of two things. It's either this person's been in your life a while and this type of thing happens every now and then. It just keeps happening. Or they have other people in their life that have done this to them, and they're going to project anger, possibly. They're going to project their feelings from other people that have done this, and they're going to like group you right into this category. Like, oh, well, this Sagittarius is just like those people, which is not true. You're not malicious. But there's a history card here. I think for a lot of you, though, it's just this. It's not the first time this has happened with this person, and it probably won't be the last. And they're trying to help you see it so that you can work with this better. I don't know. My first thought is if it's possible, which it might not be, a liaison. Am I saying that word right? Liaison? I hope I'm saying that word right. Like somebody between you and them to help. Like somebody, like almost like you need an interpreter. Now you're speaking the same language. I'm thinking, I'm guessing, but it's like you need somebody between you to like go from like, well, the Sagittarius is actually helpful, not hurtful, and this is why they said that to you, and this is why this is coming forward. Like they're just like, to them it's just common sense, and it's just don't do that. That's all. They're not saying anything malicious. And then the other side, like somebody almost has to interpret it for them, kind of like saying, and then tell them like, you know, I know that this is how that feels, but this is for help. This is not for hurt. Like I really feel like you need another person to help cushion the blow here, so this person doesn't get. And they're not a bad person either. That's the thing. What I'm also worried about is they might walk away from this and just go on like there's no problem, but they do have hurt feelings. It's a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding. They'll distance themselves for you for a temporary period, and then they'll come back around, but the cycle is gonna keep repeating. What I'm more worried about is kind of like winding, winding the spring, if you will. Like it's gonna wind. One of these times, it's gonna wind too tight, and it's gonna, snap off. That's what I'm afraid of. I feel like they're telling you like this person, the spring isn't wound that tight at this point. You can actually get in here. Maybe a liaison, if I can say it, would really help bring down that energy. Or you can try to deal with it directly. You might be more able to do that. Like, this is a general read. Decide what you think is right for your life. Like, general read. Like, think it out, what works right for you, what makes sense for you. Do what you feel is right. But you can kind of diffuse this before it really starts to really put a lot of tension on that spring, because it gets too much tension. At some point, it's either gonna you got two things. It gets really a lot of tension. You got two things that could happen. Either it's gonna let go and it's gonna go, and it's gonna be a little bit much, or it's gonna snap and it's gonna break. And once it's broke, it's broke. like once it's broken, like this is when somebody leaves your life and they're just like, I hate the Sagittarius. That's where they could end up in that boat. Like, I just hate the Sagittarius. Even though you're not doing anything mean. They just, different languages, different ways of communicating. And when it works out, like you defuse it, it's not going to be the only time you have to defuse it, but I feel like you're going to be more aware of it. And every now and then when this other person acts a little bit like they don't want to talk to you, they're shying away, you can be like, all right, something clearly happened. What happened? Let me find out. And you can, work it out and kind of be like, oh no, okay, this is what I said, but I didn't mean that. I wasn't trying to jab you. The reason I said that was, and this was happening, and I didn't want this. If you did that, like if you walked over there where the glass was, you could have had a nasty cut or possibly had needed stitches or whatever. And I especially know you were looking forward to that run this weekend, and if you had stitches in your foot, I don't think you'd have been able to run in that race this weekend. So I just wanted to make sure that didn't happen to you. Like, I feel like you might have to explain it like that. If you don't handle it, I don't feel like you're going to hate this person, but I do feel like you're going to have to move on from this connection. Like, sooner or later, the connection with this person will just kind of dwindle and go away. So I guess it just depends on what works for you. Some of you might be dealing with somebody and you're like, they're kind of difficult anyway. Maybe it's okay if they slowly just kind of go away. I have a feeling the spring's going to snap and there's going to be a rough ending and then they'll just disappear. But if you decide that's okay in your life, then that's your business to decide that. If you don't want that to happen, though, they're like, go ahead, confront it, work it out, figure out what's going on, and then keep an eye on it, and then just keep diffusing it as you keep going on. And you're going to have to like tend to this situation, tend to it, maintain it's probably a better word, to keep it going. Forgiveness is possible here, especially when it's just a like forgiveness both ways. Like, you forgiving them for like thinking that you meant something negative, them forgiving you for like feeling like you hurt their feelings. Like, forgiveness like is a good thing. That means letting go. Like, letting go of it. It's kind of what I'm also getting from it. Like, because like it's almost kind of like, well, what do I need to be forgiven for? I didn't really do anything malicious. But it's kind of like, them forgiving themselves also for assuming the worst. So like it could be them forgiving themselves, aka letting it go over the period of time. Different ways of communication. This can go better. This can go better, and I think that's the overall thing. This can go better. That's what this is meant to do, to help you, if it hits, of course, if it makes sense with you, to make it go better. Are we good? All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, same email. It's listed below. Details are listed below. Thank you for watching, and you have a good day.